My job as the voice of reason is to smell BS and to point us all in the right direction. It landed me in jail for words that were hurty, and I take it on the chin. Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa there, Gemma and Lizzo. Thank you, they agree. Now, what it is, right? We have to waste a bit of time at the beginning so we don't offend people and get cut off. But I'd like to talk to you today about reform and Mohammed Zia Youssef, who could well be our next Prime Minister if the Nigel Farage decides not to take the role. This concerns me because he has previously said that in 5 years' time he'll be too old to be Prime Minister and doesn't really want to be. So let's get some facts and work out at alexbelfield.com whether we can trust Farage, whether we can trust reform, and whether we want Mohammed as our Prime Minister. He just sold his company for £31 million. He's a very wealthy man who could do us a lot of good. Or not.
People might ask, Duddy, why am I questioning whether we're going to have Prime Minister Mohammed or Nigel? Well, two words. Tommy Robinson, you see, the way that Nigel backtracked from that proves to me that he's become one of these parliamentarians, and unfortunately is in the club. So we have to be cautious, just in case. Check out the wording over Epping. I'm not sure he's as confident in his beliefs as he was prior to being part of Parliament.
Live across the world, this is the voice of reason. We're having a little Sunday beverage with a few of my friends who have so kindly come to do a dress rehearsal. Well, I was naked at one point, but that's not why you called. We are back together and there's nothing you can do about it. The love will always beat hate, the light will beat the dark, and these people will always beat evil, dreadful people that want to shushy. We're back together. The voice of reason is live. Thank you for coming, everyone. Hello, Chunky, live across the world for a Tuesday. This is the voice of reason. I have an apology for a Tuesday afternoon, as yesterday I made some disparaging comments about the salad dodgers. Apparently I've made the fatties feel small. This was originally designed for Katie Price, who also has an uneven surface, especially in those big flipper mouth lips, sucking on a bumblebee while spitting out a rhinoceros. I offended some people yesterday. Apparently I was grossly offensive to the grossly morbidly obese people who didn't like my comments about going for a walk if you want to lose weight. I'm terribly sorry about that. Didn't mean to offend you, but my probation officers had calls, YouTube's had calls, and also the thought police at the Thanet Council I've had calls because I said the word shite and they want to fine me £100. So I'd like to formally apologise so that I don't get kicked off and end up in the YouTube sin bin. Heaven forbid we'd be shadow banned and nobody sees the videos. We've got a lot going on for a Monday. It's a Tuesday today, and as you see, Doddy will eventually come towards us and we will get on with our walk. Look at her, like a greyhound. Instead, she's just a little cocky poo. So in the news today, we've done that bit of filling now, you see. You can't say anything of any importance in the first minute or they just don't show anybody. I'm going to talk about Farage today and Anal Schwab, that man from the WEF. I don't mean the World Wrestling Federation people. No, I'm talking about the man who was behind the economic redevelopment of the world during COVID and, of course, the WHO, the World Health Organization, who were pushing the jabs. Jabs haven't gone down very well this week. As I told you yesterday, the fatties are dying of the fat jab. So I say, try a bit of kale, it might work. Can't really talk about it here because people get offended and start ringing and complaining. But what I would like to talk about today is Nigel Farage. Tomorrow on the programme, I'll explain why his thing is flawed. But I have a question for Nigel, who I admire greatly, respect a lot, and really like as a human being. But are you actually serious about being Prime Minister? If you remember when Reformed was formed, he said he wouldn't be. He wasn't interested. But he said he didn't want to be Prime Minister. So does he now want to be Prime Minister? That's what we want to know, because there's no point voting for a party and backing a party that hasn't really got a leader. So if you could let us... She's not having a shout. Oh, thank God for that. How humiliating as I clutch my pearls. We cannot have the most famous dog in show business clenching and pushing one out in trap 2 live on the Tippy Tappy. There'll be complaints to my probation officer. I was very curious the other day to watch an interview with Farage and also James Whale, where Farage sort of implied that he was behind the anti-jab, anti-COVID stuff, but that's not what I remember. There's a bit of rewriting of history going on. I'll play you that clip and talk about what really happened. Sorry, I must feed my little storks here. I have some... There they are, look. Here we go, girls. Good morning. How are you? Look at the babies, they're growing fast. I have proper food for those who, by the way, were heckling me the other day. Look at those babies, they're so beautiful. So yes, Farage was on with James Whale and somehow rewriting history that the COVID situation and the jab was unfortunate, and he advised everybody not to do it. I don't remember that. That's not how I recall. I remember everybody who was part of that establishment and part of that elite were encouraging us all to go and get pricked. But I'll play you the clip tomorrow at alexbelfield.com, 6 a.m, where you can see for yourself and make your own judgment. That's what we do at alexbelfield.com. We just put it out there and then make our minds up. Do you want more? Oh, we've got some nice young ladies here. Come on. Here we go. Oh, this is what I do for a living now. I talk shite and feed my storks. Aren't they gorgeous? I suppose my reservations come from things like water. This week, Farage said he'll put your water bill up because there's no alternative, because you can't make money out of it. And no sane businessman would ever want to take on something like Severn Trent or indeed Thames Water, because it's just pissing water out of the bank account quicker than we're excreting excrement into our local rivers and lakes. So we've got to be careful with people like Farage. With what side of the fence he's on, because he's a very rich man who's very powerful and now part of the Parliament elite. And as people like the great Andrew Bridgen will tell you, the second you start going against their mantra and their way of thinking, and if you don't speak their papal dogma, you can end up in a real mess. It's a club, a big boys club, and Farage is now part of it. Can we trust him is my question that we'll be asking tomorrow, and on the phone in at alexbelfield.com, where we'd love you to have your say. Sign up now and you'll join the party where we can have free speech without Ofcom sticking their dirty, stinking, rotten beaks in. Oh, and we don't have to be PC. I can say anything at all, including things like that they've edited here. In the news tomorrow morning, we talk about celebrities and how they try and PR their own bullshit and try and convince us what is reality. Well, unfortunately for people like Fate Lorraine, who ended up exposing herself as disinterested, there's also a steep drop in the careers of people like Ellen DeGeneres, who this week said that she left America because of Donald Trump. That's not true. She left America, you little fibber. Why? You left because you were caught out. The be kind bullshit that you promoted was absolute crap, as your staff proved, which ended up getting your show cancelled. So let's not blame Trump for everything. There's many things we could ask Trump about and have a go about, but that's not one of them. Ellen looking slightly haggard and old. Well, I say karma. What goes around comes around with TV people. You will get caught out in the end. You can only put that supercilious, sanctimonious act on for so long before the public will decide, and you will end up looking like Ellen. Ugh. Tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, we've got news of how in certain parts of Derby and other towns across England, people from certain communities are stealing the fish out of our ponds and lakes and also borrowing the swans. I'm not a fan of swan upping. I'd rather feed them. There you go, girls. Help yourself. Anyway, we'll talk about anal Schwab and the WEF and the WHO and Farage tomorrow at alexbelfield.com. The tour's going very well, by the way. We're back on the road from August. We've put it on very late, and Blackpool's already sold out on the Saturday night. So if you'd like to come for the matinees, those tickets will be up now, hopefully. We've had to add 2 extra matinees at 2 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday, the 6th and 7th of September, which is magnificent. The phone-in is back tomorrow night at alexbelfield.com, the only place where we're Ofcom free and we're not PC. I say that because Ofcom now are having influence here at YouTube, where they're putting pressure on the big knobs in Silicon Valley to shushy people like me who they don't want to reach a wider audience. It's really depressing that words not only get you fined in Thanet with £100 fine for a mucky word, if you say something like ant, you can't say that anymore. That's £200, please. Oh, I'll be bankrupt by Christmas at this rate. You can't say a thing, but we can at alexbelfield.com because I've got my own Trump-sized impenetrable wall. My position's changing quite a bit with a lot of people at the moment. People surprised that I'm quite damning of Trump over his cover-up of the Epstein files. I'm just confused why he's suddenly changed his stance. You see, the great thing about being evolved as a human being is you can say something one day and then learn something the next and change your opinion accordingly. That's being evolved. That's being human. You don't have to stick with your opinion just because you've got it. Today, Farage says he's going to sort out the prisons. Is he? You might want to read my 4 books to find out what's really going on. I was given 2.9 years for words like Lucy Connolly. Yes, for offending people and my feelings. 2.9 years to go in 5 of the prisons. 30 people died in the prisons I was at during that period. Yeah. It's not a nice place, but you can get sex with as many bent busty screws as you want, and you can get more drugs than a nightclub. I explain all in my new book, Surviving the Slammer, which will be available in Blackpool on the 6th of September exclusively. I will sign it for you there, and you can pre-order now at alexbelfield.com. Farage has got lots of words and lots of great ideas, but is he credible is my question tomorrow morning at 6. What do you think? Comment, share, and would you subscribe? That would really help me to see whether we can get above 340,000 subscribers, which we appear not to. Every time we get to 339,700, for some reason it goes back down to 69. An interesting number. So we'll keep fighting on regardless. We've made it longer than I thought. It's 6 weeks on Thursday that I've been out of prison. Who knew? This is quite remarkable. But we keep going, we keep fighting on, and we keep walking with the doddy. Where is she? There she is, having a piss up a nice bush. If you'd like to see video of that, you can go to the Dinghy Divers at Blackpool's Metropole Hotel, where they're making videos of it right now, that you're paying £8 million a day to allow these people to be in hotels recording them having sex. That's it from me, Alex Belfield, live from Nottingham in the wonderful summer sunshine. Isn't it glorious? You can't see a thing because of all those chemtrails. I shall see you tomorrow morning from 6 for the news. Sign up now, alexbelfield.com, and join us on tour. Gloucester, we're going to Stafford, we're going to Blackpool, and we begin in Nottingham on August the 9th live if you'd like to see the voice of reason. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Love you. Ta-da.
Anyway, that's not why you called.
Did you hear that? That was the voice of fucking reason, wasn't it?
Guardian readers, ambivalacious types, and champagne sippers, switch off now. Alex Belfield's voice of reason.